Hey guys, what's up? Did I ever tell you that sometimes I do mess up my own intro? But anyway, this is the Good Vibes Podcast, and I'm bringing you good waves, good vibes, and good times, all from the comfort of my own home. So, today is Monday. It is the day after Christmas. I hope that everybody had a very, very well Christmas or whatever it is that you do. Personally, I don't really care because I celebrate Christmas. But anyway, I hope that everybody had a great holiday. Happy holidays, whatever. It fell on a Sunday this year, which for me, I got 3 hours of sleep before Christmas because, having the little kids, the little whatever it is, we had to do it at 5 o'clock Sunday morning because Santa still decided to come, and so we had to wait for him to be there. We couldn't do it on the 26th, or we couldn't do it on Christmas Eve because Santa had to come on Christmas. So since we go to church, we got up at like 5, and then after that, and then so I had a great Christmas. I really enjoyed it. I got to spend a lot of time with my family, which was good. And so we had Christmas that morning, and then afterwards we went out to my grandmother's. I know that I've discussed that a lot, good Christmas traditions or whatever. But we went out to my grandmother's, and we had Christmas out there at like 5 o'clock, and so it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it. And so apparently today is Christmas Day observed. So that way, if you didn't want to celebrate it on a Sunday or whatever, you can now celebrate it today, which I know that some people did, a lot of people did. They celebrated it right now anyway. Also, one other thing that I noticed, I went back and I was like watching the YouTube video that I did put up. In case you guys haven't noticed that already, the last Wednesdays, Questions with the Audience Wednesdays, is on YouTube. And so now I am actually being able to put these podcasts onto YouTube. And the YouTube channel is, of course, none the less than Good Vibes Podcast. So if you search that, it should come up. Apparently, I messed up, and so it's only like, it's like Good Vibes is the first name, and like Podcast is the last name on the YouTube channel or whatever. But if you search that, I have the first 2 podcasts on there, and then I have the 27th podcast on there, which is last Wednesdays. And so, as you guys know, I didn't want to do Friday with Friends this past coming week because I kind of played around with the idea of not doing it, and so I was like texting people, and I was like, hey, would you be free to do Friday with Friends on whatever? And also, I was busy Thursday night, and I was going to be busy Friday night or whatever, and I didn't want to do it Saturday, obviously, because that's Christmas Eve. And so I was like texting all these people, and I was like, hey, what? And so I got a couple people that were like, yeah, I could do it, but then I ended up being busy on Friday night. And so I was just like, I don't think I'm going to do it because I wanted them to be able to spend time with their families, and I understand that the holidays are really busy, and the holidays are very rushed times for everybody. And so I was like, I'm just, I don't think we're gonna find it with friends. And so I felt really bad about that. That was like the first podcast that I've missed over like almost 2.5 months. But I put up a small little video of me reading The Night Before Christmas to my dogs, and I just put that up. I was like, I'm just gonna put something up there anyway. So that's on there also. But speaking of that, 2.5 months. Wow, I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, but if you can see this mic right here, I've come a long way from the very first podcast. So on the first podcast, I was using these headphones like these for the mic, and so that's why it's such a huge sound difference. And then I was not comfortable with it at all. I felt very awkward and nervous behind a microphone or whatever, and so it was kind of like I was like struggling to get out there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and so I went and I was using, if you have Microsoft or whatever, I was using the voice recording app on there. Like I wasn't even using software. I was just using what I had, and then I would save it and then upload it to Podbean. But it has come a long way. You know, honestly, I never thought that I would be close to 1,000 downloads and 1,000 plays within a span of 3 months. And it's all due to you guys listening to this and advertising it to your friends, which I've realized that some of you are doing, which I'm like so grateful for. Like that is amazing. And so I just cannot believe like how far this, like what I want to do, has come. And so I can't thank you guys enough for that. I mean, that's great. It's not even been 3 months. So I'm thinking about toying around with this. This is just kind of, it's the beginning of the week. I'm trying to give you guys the rundown on what's going on. So the $50 gift card giveaway. Would you guys prefer either a gift card to like Target, Kanukins, or something else, or would it sound more appealing if it was $50 cash? So I'm thinking I might change it to a $50 cash giveaway. And so it's actually going to be really, really easy on how you can do this. So I figured out what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to start the giveaway until I hit 1,000 downloads. So what you'll need to do is I'll post, I'll send out a picture on my story that you need to screenshot. So you'll need to screenshot this picture, put it onto your story. So you'll need to put this picture onto your story with Snapchat. You can. So you'll need to put the picture onto your story, and then you will need to follow me on Podbean. And then you Snapchat me and say that you're done. And so the picture's going to be something like, it'll say like $50 cash giveaway, follow, Cole Metcalf on Snapchat for more information. And then you'll need to screenshot that. I'll have it up. Put that onto your story, and then follow me on Podbean. And then hopefully from there, maybe like one or two of your friends will be able to see it. So they'll come onto my story, be like, oh, I want to enter into this. And so they'll screenshot that, put it on their story, and then so far and so far. And what's going to happen is whoever follows me on Podbean, and then whoever puts that onto their story and adds me on Snapchat, I'll just put your name down or whatever. And then it'll last for about 2 weeks is how long I'll do it for. And then I'll just like put it into a program that picks your name randomly or whatever. And so like if you're the first one to do it, you'll be number one, the second one to do it, so on and so forth. And so then the computer will pick a random thing. And then whoever picks it, I'm just going to give you $50 cash. And probably I'll give you a shout out on the next podcast or whatever. But and so that's how I'm going to do the giveaway for 1,000 downloads. Do a 1,000 download giveaway. And so that's just great. I'm so looking forward to that. But anyway, New Year's Eve is coming up. Friday with Friends will happen this Friday or Thursday, depending on whatever. And so we're going to do that. And because New Year's isn't really as busy as Christmas is. And so, but I hope that you guys have some amazing New Year's plans coming up. I know that I've got some in mind, and I'm very much looking forward to being with them and whatever the plans that I have to be doing. So I'm pretty stoked for that and whatever. But anyway, now that we've got that all out of the way, it is time to bring you some news events that happened over the weekend. And in case you guys are watching this, this is where all the magic happens and stuff like that. And so I like to call the day after Christmas Miracle Day. Because you really get to experience, or you get to see and hear about all these great Christmas miracle stories that people did, and you get to hear about just how happy people have been made, whatever, being having presents bought, or it's just great because you get to hear about all these Christmas miracles, and it warms my heart, and it makes me so happy on the inside. But anyway, I love reading about these. These are great. They're true, warm your heart, from the heart stories that everybody loves. Everybody loves to hear. It's like military homecomings. I heard somebody say that military homecomings is like coffee for the soul. It's good for you, and it's great, and it warms you. And I like to call Christmas miracles hot chocolate for the soul. And that's right. You heard it here first. Christmas miracles are hot chocolate for the soul. It's great. But the first one that I want to discuss, you guys might have heard some of this, you guys might not have. But if you have, suck it up and listen to this anyway, because you've already come this far. But I'll read the headline. It says, "Children enjoy Christmas due to Craigslist." Now listen, I've enjoyed a lot of things due to Craigslist. I mean, this nice little couch you see, Craigslist, baby. I mean, Craigslist is great. But the ability for children to enjoy Christmas due to Craigslist. So, the girl's name is Tashika Britton. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tyshika Britton. Brittn. Anyway, Tashika Britton is, she's not a single mother. She has a boyfriend, but she has 5 boys. And then she has, I think it's a 3-year-old baby girl. Or a 3-year-old girl. That's what the news article said, it was a baby girl. And so she lives with a boyfriend. Her boyfriend's like a construction worker. He works like construction, obviously. And I don't know if she has a job or not. I don't think I read any there that said that. But she put on to Craigslist that their family was facing eviction. They were fixing to be kicked out. And she really, really needed some help with Christmas. And she said that she felt like a complete failure, but that she really, really needed help and whatever. And so she reached out for help. And a lot of people kind of like criticize her, as in, you don't need to post your financial problems on a social media. You know, don't beg, don't ask for help, yada yada. And she put it into her own words, as in, well, I mean, if she said it, it obviously would be her own words, of course. And so she said that people need to know that this happens. People need to know that this is out here, that people really, really do struggle with stuff like this around Christmas. I mean, it's a thing. And she wanted to make it aware, and she wanted to ask for help, because she could not be able to provide a Christmas for her own family by herself. And so she received a lot of stuff through, I mean, like, looking at this, people helped her out. Her post went viral on Facebook, and then her Craigslist post went viral onto Facebook. And people were sending in, like, donations left and right, toys, everything. And from what I was reading, she actually received a $10,000 check from Eddie Vedder. And if those of you who don't know who he is a member of the band Pearl Jam. And so he actually saw her post and sent her in $10,000 in a check. And so, of course, they interviewed him, and they're like, well, why her? Why did you send in $10,000 to her? And he described it. He was like, you know, he said that he saw a lot of his childhood in her, as in, like, his Christmases involved around garage sale buys, thrift store buys. You know, not all of his presents would work. And he said that he really, really saw a lot of himself described in her Christmas, and he really wanted to help out. So he sent in, like, $10,000 a check just from him. And he was so happy to do that, and it was great. And so, like, somebody set up a GoFundMe account for them. And when I read it, their GoFundMe account was around $18,000. And that was just on GoFundMe from people donating in. And then, also, they had $30,000 given to them in cash donations. So, I mean, that is insane. And they were listing off the things that she was able to give to her children. 6 children. They were given a PlayStation 4, a puppy, a lot of video games, a lot of clothes, rain jackets, new t-shirts, shoes, jeans, a lot of clothes, Legos. They put that on there. They wanted to make sure that you knew that they got Legos. They got Legos, they got footballs, basketballs. I mean, like, a long list of stuff. That's just what the news article was putting on there that they said that they got. But they received a bunch of stuff, and she said that this was just an absolutely great start to help them get back on track financially. And this was a gigantic turnaround event. And I was reading, you know, they said that, you know, they do one day have hopes of, like, owning their own cars, not renting them, owning their own house. And so she said that their landlord was coming back, what is today, Monday? Tomorrow, so it would be Tuesday, to discuss with them eviction. And so she said that it's going to be a really big life changer. And she was absolutely grateful. And I thought that, man, that was absolutely amazing. Last Wednesday, we were able to go with my dad's real estate team, and we had some people that were highly recommended to them through the school system. It was a lady that works in the public school system where we were delivering to, and she said, listen, these families, they have not asked for help, but they sure do need them. So she gave us a list of all the families, and she gave us a list of everything. And so it was my dad, some lady, some dude, I don't even remember their names, but they all pitched in, and Legend bought them, his real estate company, they bought them gifts, and they bought them enough food to last for like a week each. And then they gave them food for a Christmas dinner that night, and we delivered them. And it was amazing. We drove out 45 minutes. For those of you who are familiar with Huntsville, we drove over the mountain to that area behind there. I don't really remember. And we donated. We were able to go, and I went with all four of my siblings and my dad. My mom was busy. I don't really know what she was doing, but we all went. And then the guy brought he had 2 children with him. And then she didn't bring any children. But we went to 4 separate houses that the lady had recommended us through public schools. And we brought them in presents. And we brought them in a bunch of food to be able to have for Christmas. And it was absolutely great to be able to do that. And to be able to see firsthand how it affects people, like when you're able to do stuff like that for them. When they realize that, they're actually going to be able to have a good Christmas this year. And it was great. I mean, it was really cool to be able to do that. And turns out one of the people that we delivered to was our cousins, and we didn't even know it. But they were like distant cousins, but we were related. We had met them at a family gathering one time, but didn't even realize it. And so it's a small world. It was crazy. And so we got to meet up with them, and we got to talk with them again. And then we got to do that this year. And then last year through, it was through a different program. We went and personally delivered a bunch of stuff to this single mother out in Huntsville. And it was great. Honestly, this might sound kind of mean, but it's like heartwarming to see people cry. Because it's like when they cry over that stuff, I mean, like, that it's just great to see how much of a difference that you've made in somebody's life to be able to do that. And it's great. That's why I will always say that Christmas is absolutely the best time of the year. And you cannot argue with me on this, because Christmas brings out the best in people. Christmas brings out the good in everybody, that everybody feels generous at Christmas to help out everybody in need. And I wish that there was that feeling year round, but honestly, I mean, I'm happy with it being right here now, because I'd rather have it in this one spot, in this one time of year, than just not ever have it at all. And so it's great. And I mean, I love Christmas. Christmas will always be my favorite time of the year, and it will always be the best time of the year. And if you think differently, then you're wrong. And so it's great. So anyway, another small story described in Detroit, Michigan. Local McDonald's gives away 1,000 Christmas trees. Did you like that? 1,000 Christmas trees. They gave away 500 out of their parking lot, and then they gave away 500 more to people who had came in and asked for the donations and whatnot and whatever. And so I was reading stories about this one mother said that she had, or is it this story or is it a different one? No, it's this story. One mother had, she had just finalized her divorce. She had lost her job, and she had 4 kids, and she did not know how, she couldn't even afford a Christmas tree. And she didn't know what to do. And then she saw that this McDonald's was giving away, and it was great. And multiple families, like not being able to afford a Christmas tree, being able to put this up in their house and bringing it home and decorating it. And this McDonald's just gave away 1,000 6-foot Christmas trees. And I thought that was really neat. and I think they did it on Christmas Eve and the day before Christmas. Like they were giving them out then, so it was like a last minute thing. But they gave away all of them, and people were able to celebrate and have an actual Christmas with Christmas tree. And I could talk about these stories all day. I absolutely love to hear about these Christmas stories, and it's so great. And this was another one. This one, to be honest with you, this one is probably the most heart touching story that I read, and it was so great. And you guys might have heard this one actually. I feel like it was a little more popular than the other ones. But the pizza delivery man. This is the headlines, so don't blame me for how it sounds. Pizza delivery man finds local miracle at church. And so what it was he was asked to come in early on Sunday to work. I think it was Sunday or Saturday, one of the two. And he was asked to come in early and deliver a certain pizza to this church. And so he was like, well, okay. He thought it was weird because he was given specific instructions to do. Oh, man, I want pizza right now. He was given specific instructions to do this with. And so he came in and delivered the pizza. And where is it? And so what it was the church was putting on a play. And that was actually part of the script. They knew him. Like they knew about him because he was having like some really, really bad health issues, and the leader of the play, I didn't write it down. The guy's name that organized the whole thing. He called Pizza Hut where the guy worked, and he was like, "Hey, listen, is there anybody there that we can help out?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I have a delivery guy. His name is the guy's name was Devin Kamick." And he kind of explained to him what was going on. So the church knew about it. And so they called him in. And so he came to deliver the pizza, which was part of the play. And so the guy sat him down and he said, he described it. He said, "Look, I know something big is coming up in your life right now and we want to help you." And the guy, Devin was like, "What? How do you know this?" And that wasn't like, it was like a quote from him. And so they asked him to get up and to share his story with the congregation. So it was 2 years ago. Devin was diagnosed with an end-stage heart failure, and so he needed to have a implant put in, a pump that was going to do 90% of his heart's work, but it had to be powered 24/7. So when he's at home, it has to stay plugged in. Like, I don't know if it's directly to a wall, but I mean it has to be plugged in to where it's able to work. And then when he's out like doing deliveries or whatever on pizza at a job, he has to wear a battery pack whenever he's out. And so he's 31 years old and he's a father of 3, and he has this going on. And so he was asked to get up and share his story with the congregation, and he did. And then all of a sudden people started getting up. Like, this was not planned, this was spontaneous. And they got up and started just putting money in a hat for him up there and donating money to him to be able to help him out. And I think that it totaled like $1,496. So it was almost $1,500 that these people gave like spontaneously to this guy to help him out for Christmas. And it was great. And he said that he was not expecting that at all. Even the guy that managed the play, he was like, "I didn't even ask to do this." People got up, and it was a spontaneous thing. And so Devin then he received a call from his doctor. I don't know how long after the play it was. And he received a call from his doctor saying that the medication that he's going to have to be on for the rest of his life, but the medication was actually starting to work, and it was able to bring his heart to a more manageable state to where he is not actually going to need a heart transplant. But he will still need the pump for a while, the implant, and he will still have to be on medication for the rest of his life. But it was getting better from what he was taking, and the medication was really helping him out like that. And so I thought that was probably my favorite story out of all the Christmas miracles that I read. And I thought that one was pretty heart-touching, to say the least. And so that one was great. And also another one that I read was a 3-year-old with leukemia was sworn in as a police officer, like an actual police officer. And it was Eli Hogue, and he lives in San Antonio, and he was actually sworn into the Schertz Police Department. And he was given his own personal patrol car, not like an actual one, but like, the little, not little ones, but it's like the ones you buy at Walmart. They're like this big. And they're like the electric ones, but they personalized it as in it was a Schertz police patrol car, and it was his, and they gave it to him. And he was able to receive a police uniform shirt, a sleeve patch that like the officers wear right there, and a tour of a real patrol car. And he was also awarded like the Coin of Bravery from the police chief, the police captain over there. And so it was always his dream to be sworn in as a police officer. And so he was able to do that through Schertz Police Department. And that one was. And so the last good news Christmas miracle story that I have to discuss for you guys. And let's see, what time are we at? I mean, we're doing good. We are at 25 minutes. But I also had some personal stories that I wanted to share with you guys. Ones that it's maybe not necessarily Christmas memories, but it was pretty funny. And I just kind of thought about them, and I was like, yeah, Cole, they might like to hear them. So I've got a couple of those, and but this one was really cool. It says woman pays for adoptions at local Sacramento animal shelter, and she came, and it was a real estate agent Ken Piscini Hauch, and she's got that hyphenated last name, and so she wears the pants in the household, and because she's got that, she still kept her last name in her own thing. But she was driving to the Front Street Animal Shelter, and so she gives donations every year. So as I was reading it, and she was saying that she was thinking what do I need? Do they need like a washing machine for this year? I mean, what do they need to donate, because they need this, they're an animal shelter. And so she got there to sit down with the lady over everything, and she was looking, and she said they had 700 unadopted dogs and 300 unadopted cats. And so last year she ran a whole event to be able to buy cots for everybody, or for every animal, so they wouldn't have to sleep on the concrete floors. And so she was able to do that. So she described, she was like, imagine looking at 1,000 animals with 2,000 eyes staring back at you and wanting them to find a home for the holidays. So she was like, she said it was just on a whim. She was like, what do I need to do to help all of these animals get adopted? I want to cover the fees for all of them. And so usually it's like a $65 fee to cover them, but through the holidays they're doing a $20 fee flat rate, and that was like for spaying, neutering, microchipping, like general stuff like that. And so she went and covered the adoption fee for all of the animals in the shelter at the time. And so she launched a campaign video called Home for the Pawlidays, like P-A-W, Pawlidays, like holidays. Do you get it? And that campaign video went viral. Within 24 hours, it had 2 million views. And so, on average, before this, the shelter was averaging like 10 adoptions a day, but they were doing like 20 adoptions if they had a really busy day. For a straight month, they were doing 60 adoptions per day. And so that was crazy. They said that they still do the same vetting and background checking process as they would any other person that would pay the adoption fee. And so, but her act of kindness sponsored even more acts of kindness, as in people at other animal shelters and at that animal shelters were paying forward adoption fees for people to come and get all of these animals. And so one guy donated like $2,000. He remained anonymous. And so people, when they would come in to get their adoption, they would pay it forward, and they would pay like the however much to adopt another animal. And so people were just paying it forward. And so when everything was said and done, Kim's donation may total around $20,000 to help adopt all of these animals. So she donated $20,000 almost to completely help and adopt all of these animals so that they can have a home for the holidays or for the holidays. And so I thought that was neato. That was pretty neat. But anyway, there was I just thought about this last night, and I was like, I kind of want to share it. And it might not fit the theme of good news, but it's actually really funny. So, you guys know Cliff. Cliff has been on this talk show a decent number of times. But the guy with the really burly voice talks like that, like really deep. But there was one time back in 7th grade, I always threw the most insane birthday parties, like from 7th to like 9th grade or like 6th and whatever. Like I had it was Cliff Thompson, Luke Clem, Cole Pierce, JR, Bobo, and was that it? I think it was just those 4. And what we would do is it was crazy. And so one time it was like early in the morning, and we all got up, and my dad fixed like 35 pancakes for some reason. Cliff ate 10. I'm not even kidding. Cliff ate 10 pancakes. And so we have a barn like out behind our house, and Cliff and JR was like, "Hey, what's up in that barn? I mean, can we go up there?" And I was like, "There's a ton of wasps and hornets up there." I was like, we don't even go up there. And so he was like, "Oh, I heard that hairspray kills them." He was like, "You got any hairspray? We can go up there and spray them." And I was like, "Okay, sure." And so I got some hairspray out of my bathroom that my mom, it was like some old stuff she let me have. But it was like halfway full. And so I was like, "Here you go, here's the hairspray." And so he was like, "All right." So him and Cliff went up there, and I was just watching. I was sitting on my back porch, and I was watching them walk to the barn. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna watch this. And so I was watching them go, and then they climbed up the ladder. I saw them go around, and they climbed up the ladder, and then they went into the barn. And then I couldn't really hear the hairspray, but all of the sudden I just heard screaming, and it was Cliff, and he was like, "Ah, get him off! Get him off!" And he jumped out of the window of my barn. It's like open loft to like throw hay up there. And he jumped out of that. And it wasn't a long jump, but he was sprinting back to the house. And JR was right behind him. And he was swatting at his arms, and he was slapping everywhere. And he got back up here, and the hornets had stung him like 8 times. I mean, it was all over his arm. But he was not crying. He was tough. And it was like, you could see how big the welts were on his arm. But JR did not get touched at all. And JR was the one spraying him with hairspray. And so he came, and he jumped out of that window, and he came sprinting back to the house, and his arms were flailing, and everything was going. And it was really funny. And we still talk about it now. It was really funny to think about that and like do that and whatever. And honestly, that's one of my favorite memories with Cliff. And also on that time or whatever, I almost broke Kopi's leg. I almost broke Kopi's knee. We were jumping on the trampoline, and I like bounced back. We were wrestling, and I hit his knee, and it like popped back, and we thought he died. But anyway, guys, that is gonna wrap up this. This is great. I love Christmas miracles. I love being able to discuss the podcast and things like this with you guys. And these are some of my favorite stories always to discuss. And so thank you guys for listening as always. And of course, stay tuned in. Tomorrow I'll be putting out on Snapchat the questions for you to send me in questions. And then Wednesday I'll be doing the questions with the audience. And then Friday with Friends will be up. And so that is all going. But anyway, guys, thank you for the support. And as always, stay funky. I love you guys.